My name is Philip Overland, and I've been coming to Church of the Gates for 9 years.
Good job. Okay.
To me, the heart behind having 5,000 meals, for me personally, is about intentionality. So often I have found myself and others more comfortable in Christian circles and making ourselves a little God box and just spending time with people that are like us. And for me, having 5,000 meals was a tangible opportunity to reach out to people in my life who are far away from God. Okay, so the story I'd like to share with you today happened a couple months back. I used to work at a youth home for teenagers aging out of foster care, and while I was working there, a young woman moved in, and she was working through a lot of things. She had a lot of pain, a lot of hurt in her life, was struggling in many, many areas. And she did not necessarily want relationship with people in the home, with us staff members particularly. And initially, I did not want to move towards her. I did not want to get to know her that much. It was more or less painful to be in proximity of her because of how she treated others. But I felt called and decided to be persistent and began over time to build a relationship with her. It was honestly just maybe 50 to 100 little meals there of intentionality. And we would talk about all kinds of different things, but as we got to know each other better, we did begin to talk about faith things and God and what she thought about all of that. And I decided that I wanted to get her a Bible, and so I picked her a Bible out at Barnes & Noble and gave it to her, and she was pretty excited about it. And it began to spur a lot of other conversations that we got to have. She didn't read it a ton initially, but when she would have really difficult nights and was just really struggling in different ways, sometimes I would give her a list of Psalms to read or encourage her to read different parts. And it was really cool to see little bits of God working in her story, in the brokenness and in the hurt. And it was just cool that I got to be a part of that. Throughout all of this, God really showed me how much I need to trust in Him, that especially at the beginning of my relationship with her, I did not see any of that coming down the road. But God calls for obedience, He calls for faithfulness. And at the end, seeing how I got to love her well is cool, but we don't always get to see the end of the picture. And even with her, I don't get to see the end of the picture. She moved out of the youth home and went to live in another city in Montana. And part of me is very saddened by that, of that I'm not there to continue to have these conversations with her, but I also know that God is faithful and that God loves her more than I do, and that ultimately God will continue to care for her.